Say a prayer, please.
Our Heavenly Father, we come to you with bowed heads. We ask you to be with this council meeting today. Let me handle the situation where it's for the people of all knowledge. Continue to bless this city. Let it continue the way it's going. And just continue to let it grow. Now, Lord, we just turn everything over to you. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to our meeting, and we've got a new mic on order, and tonight Mr. Alvin and I will share this mic, and whoever is going to address the council when we acknowledge them, when I acknowledge them, will come and take this mic and talk. That way it'll be fully recorded for both the audio for the city and for the live stream.
I need to.
Go ahead.
I move that we amend the agenda to include the bid letting on the building, and also Chuck needs to advise us on the property on, what was the address? 205 North Main.
I second. All those in favor? That's unanimous.
Okay. Minutes. Approval of the minutes.
I so move.
Second. All those in favor? Did that get both sets?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, it does have minutes. It could go either way, couldn't it? So that's a good question.
It shows them they're both on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're both on there. Okay, approval of the financial report.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor? It's unanimous.
We'll get right into committee reports. Ambulance, Mr. Hodges.
I don't see anybody from there. Where's the, have you had any issues with the ambulance?
I'm not.
They have not.
They've had several runs, but don't have any info on it.
Okay. It's on
Fire.
Fire. Chief Hollaball called me this afternoon, and they're meeting tonight, the Fire Chiefs Association in White County, and they're trying to come up with a compromise on the radio system. It's comparable to all the departments, but it's kind of out there. But anyway, they were meeting on that, and he felt like he needed to be there. So he had nothing other than 15 runs. He had no issues.
He did share with me that they got to do a test, you know, with the new truck over there. Was it at the fire fairgrounds the other day? Yeah, it was there, and he was real pleased with that. So, move on to the budget committee, Mr. Hodges.
General fund had the beginning bank balance of $110,534, receipts of $158,839, disbursements of $161,901, ending bank balance of $1,107,472, street fund $158,541, with receipts of $19,518, disbursements of $12,850. Had ending bank balance of $165,209.76.
Thank you. Planning Commission, Mr. Mowers. Good.
What about your
Don't you want to
house on 205?
Yes.
I do it now. It wasn't under new business.
We need the resolution approved to
Levy
these two liens that are listed on to the county assessor's office. They haven't added it to their
R 2019-26.
For mowing the yard.
I so moved.
Second. Who
seconded that? Billy?
David.
David? All those in favor? It's unanimous.
Planning Commission, Marilyn Miller, you got anything that you want to add this time? Other than we're gonna meet on the second Tuesday as planned?
Second Tuesday, 6 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, Community Development, Mr. Harriman.
Nothing on that.
Parks and Recreation Committee, Mr. Fagan.
We are getting a little bit of damage out on our parking lot.
From the trash trucks?
Yeah, with these, I think we can probably fix it, but
They have to be chip sealed again, probably.
I don't know. We'll look at it when they get through, when Waste Management gets theirs out there. They've got the big dumpsters that I'm afraid of, but we'll look at it after everybody's gone. That's all we can do. But it looks like,
Gonna use what's
well,
GA.
they changed, for some reason they didn't use it. We did have a parks director who has resigned. We will have a parks committee meeting and decide where to put out bids or advertise for that employment. We'll need to come up with salaries and a program for it. That'll be done, and we will be interviewing some people who are interested in doing that. That's all I have.
And the stated meeting time is the second Tuesday for that as well.
Yeah, we'll get with that on the second Tuesday.
I think I've got somebody, John Fallwood, did you want to speak at this time?
Yes, I
I need you to come up, take the mic.
I just have to speak loud enough, everybody can hear me. Y'all called Coach Vance back Thursday in executive session, badgered him like a criminal over his job performance. What's all that about?
Were you there?
Nope, sure wasn't.
Okay, number one, it is illegal to discuss executive committee meetings.
Is it?
It is illegal in public unless we're going to take a vote. I can't sit here and say, I'm not going to answer that because it's illegal.
Are you dissatisfied with the way he ran the program this year?
That's not the issue to take with you. No, not with you. It is with him if we had an issue.
Did you?
That's not for me to, that's not for us to answer to you.
So y'all just do what you want, don't have to answer for it?
We do what's legal.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not what the attorney municipally told me.
Okay, what did he tell you?
What did y'all have the executive session for? Personnel issue?
I need
Yes.
Okay, yes.
I need to clarify something here so everybody understands it. Though we went into executive session to discuss something else besides Mr. Best, and the Parks and Recreation Committee Chairman, Mr. excuse me, Billy Fagan, said we need to have a Parks and Recreation meeting at this time, and because it was to discuss personnel, that was what that was about. So really, that was not executive. I want to make that clear. That was not executive session because we dismissed our executive session and had a parks meeting. So, but we still had to have
You're
personnel.
saying we can discuss personnel issues
No.
here.
No, that's not what I'm saying, but
Okay.
that's what I'm trying to clarify. I want
Okay.
everybody to understand
All right.
that all personnel has to be discussed in executive session.
Exactly.
But we had that parks meeting because it discussed personnel. It had to be its own executive session, if you want to call it that. I mean, if you have to get technical with it, I just want to clarify
Sure.
that to everybody. Because any personnel has to be discussed in executive session, but
You, as long as I've been here, personnel have privacy privileges. You cannot go out and
That's the law.
publicly say what goes on in those personnel meetings, as I understand it. Now, without getting into personnel, advance notice was given to everybody that there would be a Parks and Recreation meeting.
I think it is.
To people, when we sent out the notice to the people, it wasn't a public notice. We would have it. Huh?
3 people on your committee?
Yes. Yeah. When we notified people of the,
So your executive
Pre-council
session was
meeting.
for personnel issues, right?
Right.
Coach Best, who did he report to? To the committee?
to me,
So you were
and
supervising
the committee.
a department head, right?
Well, I'm the chairman of the Parks Committee.
Right. So he was told to report to you.
To come to
You were
me,
his
that's what
direct
his,
supervisor.
yeah, that's what his job description said.
Not the mayor, guys, I got it right here. I got it. You ever read the, Arkansas Code 1455-203?
I probably have, but I don't know what you're talking about.
It's in the municipal league, mayor council handbook.
Mhm.
You're studying.
We've studied it before.
You should check it out again.
Okay. Are you saying that he doesn't report to the committee heads?
No, he doesn't. Or state
Uh,
law.
Well, I don't,
I mean, I know y'all are used to that thing,
Yeah.
somebody's finally calling you out, okay?
he doesn't have to report to me.
What's that
He can
about?
report to the, he can
We'll
report.
directly to and serve under the direct supervision of the Parks and Recreation Committee. Just said that.
Yeah, well, true, but the mayor is a part of every committee.
I think what the president's trying to be said here, and I want to make sure that everybody understands, and it's gonna have to be this way from now on. And I'm not wanting to, do anything but set the precedence. From now on, all department heads will address the mayor, because that's the way the law says it. And,
It's kind of like the mayor appointing these committees. That's the mayor.
right, now, but the requirements on the list, as you had it last time, I think it was honest, mistake.
That's what we voted on in the council.
I don't know if it was actually voted on, it was just accepted, that list, because we never really advertised it,
But this was before you came on board.
okay?
How long you been on the Parks and Rec? Like
Ever since I got elected.
3 years?
Yeah.
How many directors you had that time?
Parks directors, 3, counting me.
3 years, 3 directors.
Mm,
Not the dominator and all that.
But here's what I want to say. I'm going to assure you that everything is going to be, all the department heads from now on will address any issues to the mayor the way that the legal is supposed to be. I think that that's been an oversight on my part and maybe some others, and I want to make it clear that's the way that it's going to have to start being, and because we're going to abide by the law.
I've got another question. Laura and Matt Bell, y'all don't know, they've been practicing up there. They got a team, 7, 8-year-old team, girls and ball out here. That are playing tournaments this fall. And I'll be start practicing up there next week. Our girls will be needing keys to restroom. I know you ain't giving keys up there, but our girls ain't being on the sidewalk up there, okay?
We'll get somebody up there.
Okay.
Give us your practice time.
Next Tuesday, we'll have a committee meeting, and it will be here, and everybody is notified right now. It will be next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and that's where I want to keep them all, because that's the way I set them.
No, y'all were asking about the bells, about the pitch machine. Alvin, you can ask about that, Mac, they sent them out to church, or who turned the lights on for them. Is it okay if the church goes up and plays ball?
Well, why don't they do it before dark? You know what it costs to turn them lights on?
You know what it costs to run that sewer station out there?
I sure do. I put it in.
I do too.
Yeah, I know you do.
It's all died and fall, go through there.
Well,
Yes, sure is. What's that got to do with that?
Look, do these people not pay taxes out?
Yeah, everybody pays tax.
Everybody pays taxes out, just as much of that party you do.
I didn't say you did.
okay, I'm gonna stop that
People
discussion.
go to practice with that church group. It shouldn't matter if it's 7, 8-year-old girls. They should have the right to go.
They do have the right. They do have the right. But why wait till after dark when it costs an arm and a leg to turn the lights on?
What's next to it? Minus the lift station.
She can answer that.
I don't know without dividing it up, because I don't know how much the concession runs and the lights run,
What do
and
y'all
then
want easier for
the lift station.
I want it to be known, I have no problem as the mayor for anybody city oriented to use.
I do, yes, Yes, I do.
to use the park. Okay, now, but that's something else that'll be on the agenda for that committee meeting, because we need to get that clear.
My last thing is, y'all asked why I loaded up our team, 3 girls from Cersei. Did we have 3 girls on our team from Cersei, Bill?
I don't know. I
You're
didn't.
asking.
No, Dennis.
Dennis asked.
Dennis told me that there was three girls from AAU teams. Is that what you see? On his team, and I asked about that. I asked if they went through the draft.
We didn't have enough teams for that.
What does the rules say?
What do the rules say?
Well, you said you were looking at them.
No, I'm just looking at that.
Oh, the parks, It says that every first-year player would go through the draft. You keep the same teams you had. New players coming in would go through a draft and be assigned unless all coaches agreed.
Every one of them.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I just asked the question because it was asked of me. I have to represent more people than just
Is it
you.
okay if somebody from out of town plays here? Because we got several kids that do.
I never said it wasn't.
Okay. Y'all was anyway in the deficit.
I was told, and I was told to ask about it, and I did. And Mr. Vest did not. That had nothing to do with that. Was a question that was put to me, and I was told by another committee member. Are we not supposed to ask questions of what? How you what?
How you do, how your process. You should be very, very careful to make sure that you're following the law.
Well, we try to. We try to.
There's a solution to all this. You all just let that law program go. Because we're up there, we're the ones that's doing it. Used to, it run by the coaches. Y'all have no say. It's a shame that we have to go through all this drama and all this stuff to play basketball. It really is. Every year, it's the same old song and dance. It's really aggravating.
Okay, I'm gonna call this discussion over, but I'm gonna add this in there, Mr. Fagan. At our meeting Tuesday, and the mayor is part of every committee, I am gonna consider, assigning positions on the committee. So I'm gonna let that go at that, because I want us all to discuss that, everybody that's on the Parks and Recreation Committee. And, I want to be able to have full and open discussion and disclosure there. But, we're gonna move on to the next thing, and appreciate you coming up here tonight. Now, Police Committee, Mr. Harriman.
Excuse me. Miss Mary was on the roster too.
I guess I did not realize that. We'll go back one time for her. Go ahead.
Okay. Billy, did the Parks and Recreation Committee hold meetings this year?
Yes.
Did you notify these guys that was appointed on that committee?
What? There's only 3 people on the Parks and
John Falwell, Michael Walnut, and Casey Hutchinson in the meeting December 14th of this year were appointed by the mayor to
January.
serve on that committee.
January.
2 different nights that our planning commission met here on Tuesday night, these guys come up.
I did make the appointment. There's no question they're on our list that Miss Best made.
They were
I wasn't aware they were. Sorry. There's never been on a revenue department, there's never been an outside regular citizens on the committees.
Billy, the volunteers built this program. You know that from the ground up. This program wouldn't be here today without them. They should have a voice.
Mary Lou, I was a part of that.
I know that. That's why I said you
Well,
will.
I'm not saying they don't have a voice, but
They should be able to attend the meetings. They have suggestions, ideas about what's going on within the baseball program. They're there all the time. They should get to have a part.
Yep.
And you know that.
Well, and that's my point. I feel like that's, I feel like it's been abused, and that's why, I feel like that's why we're gonna address it in Tuesday's meeting. And I want everybody that's interested in the Parks and Recreation and the ballpark, out there, I want them to be at the meeting. Because we are gonna look at reorganizing some things and, bring anything you wanna put on that agenda. You're on the committee, Casey's on the agenda, on the committee. And, we're calling it, and that's where the meetings are gonna stay from now on, is Tuesday, the second Tuesday, right here at 6 o'clock, along with any other committee that's gonna meet. That's why I set them that way.
Did you do an evaluation on this?
Can't discuss that, Mary Lou.
Well, the personnel policy says that's, you had to evaluate. Did you do that?
Mm-hmm. When he was hired, you talking about?
No, it says 6 months you evaluated.
Well, he started in January, so his term was through September. I mean, he understood that, January through September, yeah.
Well, I just wanted for the record here that these volunteers deserve more respect and recognition than anybody in this building. And they should have it. This ain't just about that property out there belonging to this city. It's about the program for the kids. And these are the people that provide that for the kids.
Well,
They
there's,
go straight from their jobs down there to practice or to play a game before they even go home. And they don't get the respect to even attend a meeting. That nobody gets to hear what they think, their plans, their ideas, they're the boss.
yeah, we need to move on, and that's why that I want everybody that's interested in the ball program to be at the meeting Tuesday, because there's a lot of unrest in this community about this situation. So I want anybody that has any recommendations to be there, and we'll discuss it further at that time. And we appreciate you speaking, Miss Mary Lou, and we appreciate you speaking, John. Okay. Police Committee, Mr. Harriman.
We had 1,791 calls for service, 558 security checks, 369 traffic stops, 206 citations, 88 warrants served, city ordinance warnings 19, citations 0, community service 43 people, felony cases 7, misdemeanor felonies 28, prohibitions 117, registered sex offenders 7, and 3 home visits. You have anything, Willie?
No, sir.
All right. Street and Alley Committee.
Only thing is, we're still digging ditches and we're still cleaning up a mess from that storm. Other than that, we're moving on.
Hey, could we get some clarification on one thing on that department? I've been telling people the way it's been in the past, if they have set stuff out, they just set it out there till the street department picked it up. Now, I've been telling everybody the way I understand it is they're supposed to call to have it picked up. Is that the way that you want it? You want to keep doing it like it's always been? All right. I want to clarify that, to where everybody can hear it, because I've been telling them they had to call, So go ahead and set it out. But we do have one side. Which side is?
North side's on Mondays for brush.
North side's on Monday.
Tuesday for solid waste. They're down,
Mhm.
And then the south side of the tracks we run it
On Wednesday. South side Wednesday, north side Tuesday.
Everything else is on
Okay.
Monday and Tuesday.
Now, if they've got a large amount of solid waste, how are we gonna handle that right there?
There is
The fee,
depending on how much, there will be an additional charge.
okay? If it's just a small, amount, it's no problem. But if it's a large amount, that's the only way we've got to get rid of it, because the county does not have a dump, So I want to clarify that if you've got a large amount of solid waste, which is, big household items that can't be put in the trash containers, basically, that's the only way I know to say it, which is not yard waste, because you're going to pick the yard waste up out of that yard at no charge. And there's one other thing that needs to be clarified since we're talking about it, is if you hire your tree cut down, then they must remove the tree or a fee will be charged. Now, if you cut the tree down yourself, there's no charge. The city will, am I correct there? I want to make sure I get clarification there. Okay, thank you very much.
Employee just informed me that they have a very heavy docket Tuesday,
Uh-huh,
so we might have to 7 o'clock.
okay. You think it's gonna be an abnormal amount? Is that what you're saying? A lot of times,
Right, I mean, and I know that this coming Tuesday, we have over 441 cases on the docket,
we've had,
as of today.
we've had that many before though, right?
And we've been here.
And it's backed up real close to that 6 o'clock, but it's never made it that far.
It's never hit it,
Yeah.
but you just never know what's gonna happen in court.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it
Yeah.
can't be,
right,
that's not something that can be predicted.
right,
I'm not saying that in all the way up to state.
Okay. Yeah.
But I just wanted everybody to know.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the meeting at 6, and then if you know, if it's still, the court's still going on, we'll just have to wait outside, because I don't think it'll be very much. I really don't wanna change our media notices,
No,
that's what I'm
and
after.
that's not what I'm requesting of y'all. I
Yeah.
just wanted y'all to be aware.
And I appreciate you making us aware, because if people come and there's still court going on, Willie Mack or whoever is gonna tell them they can't come in except,
And which, where it is public forum, they can come in, it's just not for the meeting.
but we'll let them know. And I appreciate you letting us know, because sometimes it is overwhelming, and that's why we rent that parking lot, you know, there.
Yeah,
And if anybody else doesn't realize it, the city does not have a big enough parking lot to accommodate our court people, so we are renting the parking lot along the fence from Nana's Needlework over here. We pay her $100, a week on that, because there's no place for them to park. They go park at McDonald's, they go park over at the trailer sales, they park along the street. So some people still don't realize that, so we need to let everybody know about that. So, thank you for coming. Street and alley, we got that. So airport, Mr. Rutherford, you have something to present tonight. Okay. Gary, welcome. Would you like to speak in the microphone? I think you probably need to.
I guess before all y'all've got the report from the McClellan. Me and Dennis met with the city engineer and tried to get some options on keeping the runway usable and the taxiway usable. And we asked for 2 different estimates. The first one is the seal coat and leveling of the runway itself, the taxiway and taxi lane, and then joining the taxiway and the runway together. And they gave us those estimates. The prices are at the bottom of the ADA grant and the different options. The second one is without the taxi lane construction. And again, they have the bid prices on that one at the bottom. And on the very last page, you have the reason for the ADA grants. They have limits on the prices and how they can match. So it gives you the reasons why he gave us the different prices on the matches.
What do you recommend? You know what needs to be done better than anybody else. What would you recommend?
What we need desperately right now is the runway and taxiway resurfacing, the lower end price one. That's ones we desperately need right now to keep everything from deteriorating.
Seal coated is what we're
A
talking
seal
about.
coat and
That's
a
the
level
words
on the
used.
runway. We've already got sags in the runway.
Okay. And how are you gonna level that runway?
They are going to, we talked to the engineer about it, they're going to, Dennis helped me, they're going to,
They're
put
gonna
a
come in
400 feet of,
Yeah.
they're gonna grind it down and put a leveling in it and level that one section of runway, I think it's for 400 feet.
Yeah, 400 feet of a dip in there.
So it gets about 3 or 4 inches.
And how much is that in itself, the cost?
It's all in the list here, what he's got,
And I want you to say it, it's what I'm.
oh, I'm sorry, let me look at it,
You're on candid camera here.
I
Not
got
on
you.
camera, but
I got you. Let's see, the seal coat and leveling, let's see. The, asphalt milling comes to $13,887.50. And then the leveling course comes to $66,015. And then you have all the other things that go with it on that coat for a total of $136,188.50 to do the runway itself. The taxiway itself is another $10,022. And by the time all the surveys are done, the engineers come in and oversee this to make sure it's done to standards. The two options on the ADA grant, the total price is, let's see, $227,633. So an 80-20 grant comes to the city share of $45,526.60. The 90-10 option comes to $77,633. That's the runway overlay, the taxiway overlay, and building the joining the runway and taxiway together.
Okay.
What we desperately are really in need of is probably the other one is what we can get by with right now. And that removes the taxiway, making the taxiway to join the runway. We just have to pull the airplanes across that gravel road right now,
Like you've been doing.
like we've been doing, yes.
Now, your bottom line though, with this 80-20 grant?
Yes.
Okay, the city's portion is how much?
If we do the smaller one, just the part for us, the city's share for the 90-10 would be $28,210.50.
Okay, now, we have a budget for, what's the budget for the airport? What's the balance? Okay, Tammy, do you know, right off the
It's in your
bat?
packet, should be in your packet.
Well, I left that part in the box back there. Do you know what the budget is?
I have no clue. Mostly I'm trying to turn lots and multiplex.
$3,722.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't very much, that's my point. And,
We have a balance of $2,865.97 remaining.
that's what it is right there. So, what we needed for you to do was come and present it like you did, tonight. Of course, the airport budget will not come close, to
Right.
doing that, and we're gonna have to, on Tuesday night, with all of our other committee meetings, I ask you to come back and get a corner or get one of the rooms, the break room, and we'll discuss that further. But as far as applying for a grant,
Right, this is just to let y'all know about it, and if we do go further, then we will contact them and they will actually apply.
and who's they now?
We talked to McClellan, is the one that
Okay,
actually
so
gives the engineering
McClellan
work.
must be the ones that would actually apply for the grant then. How long did he tell you that it would take to get that through?
He didn't know, we'd have to go to the Department of Aeronautics to get their approval, and then they would have to let the bids. And then once the bids are let, then you would,
Once you find out all that you can
Okay.
by Tuesday night, and let's talk about it and see how long it's gonna take to get that. And
Okay.
then, have a little bit more of the financial, because you can see we don't have the financial
right,
right
and we
here.
just got this, this week, they
Right.
emailed that to me,
Yeah,
and
and
you handed it to me minutes ago.
And I know you're very thorough, and I appreciate that. And, airport is very important to the city of Allentown and everybody.
We've actually got new businesses there at the airport now. So it actually is growing.
And we're,
Are we in the time frame? I mean, or is it?
of the grant,
The grant period starts from July till the next July. So
so,
we just started their season for the money. But the thing is, I've talked to the Department of Aeronautics already, and they said since we are in need of maintenance, not upgrades, but maintenance, he said we would go to the top of the list.
now, I didn't see anything in there for just seal coat.
That's part of the seal code is the
Could you have that at Tuesday's meeting just for the seal coat? I'm thinking because we're getting ready to go into the winter, if we can't do anything else.
right here it is, crack sealing with backer rod and sealant. No, that's not it, that's filling in the wraps. I will get that information.
I didn't see it, I saw it with that on their
Yeah.
boat. And that might be something that we can afford to do, because we need to seal that
Right.
runway.
Yeah, it's-
Before winter.
All right,
And then, if I understand it right, I want to make sure everybody else realizes that we'll be applying for the grant by next July. Am I right or wrong? Did I
we would apply
understand that?
for it immediately, and we would have, once we
It's
got.
funded in July?
Pardon?
It's funded in July?
Yeah, their funding starts every July 1
Gotcha,
for
okay.
the state.
So actually, we would be looking at almost a year away, but,
Possibly, they meet monthly, and this would have to go into the next meeting, and then we would have.
but they're still not going to fund it till then, that's,
They would,
Well,
they would
they're not
actually,
immediate.
It could be funded anytime.
yeah, they would fund it, it's whenever.
But then you gotta let the bid,
They
Right,
let the bids, and then once the bids. are
30
in,
to
then you
60,
gotta-
90 days.
Probably something like that, so you're probably going to wind up into the winter time at that point. So it might be in the spring before they can do.
If you'll get us the seal coat, price, that's
Okay.
something we need to look at immediately.
Okay.
And I guess I'm not understanding the July.
That's just when their budget cycle starts. So that's when they have all their money to start letting for the year.
Okay, so it's already started this last July is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, I got you now. Thank you for addressing
What,
the
what,
council.
what do we do to generate funds out there? Do we charge per landing, or is there no funds generated at all?
We pay lease for the hangars that are out there. That's about it right now.
How much is the lease on them?
14 square foot a year. There's
How many
hangars?
much?
How many hangars are
There's, I think, 4 hangars under lease right now.
And that's about how much a year though?
Probably about, mine's about $400.
So I thought about 100.
400 a year is all it generates?
About
Yeah,
100
we
apiece,
can't, we don't
yeah.
have gas, we don't have enough runway for people to come and get gas. So we can't put gas out there to generate money without a longer runway. And you have to have a better conditioned runway for that. And we just got a mechanic starting coming on, he has a hangar there now. He just bought the hangar a few months ago. He will start doing maintenance, so we might start moving some people in to do maintenance, but it's still not gonna be much until there's something there to sell.
So if it's 400, so it'd be $5,000 a year right now, 4,800.
No, it's 400 a year.
400 a year.
Oh, okay, 400 a year.
Period.
So 1,600 a year.
No, 400 a year.
I mean, for 4 buildings, right?
No,
100 apiece.
Right.
400.
Oh, 400. Oh, wow, not
It's
much
only
at all.
100 apiece.
There's one down there that pays more than that,
Oh, God,
more
no.
than 100.
So there's very little money
Because of the
generated out
square
there.
footage.
Well, most money of an airport generates it in the city. People fly in, they come in, they buy gas, they rent a car. I mean, here is not as much. They get meals, they go to hotels, they come in to do business, they bring business into town. You've probably already had calls about businesses wanting to come in and land.
I get calls from the airport all the time, but they're wanting to know about a courtesy car, which we don't have one at this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we have a law where we keep up with people that land and all that, who it is?
Now you have to have somebody out there all the time to do that.
There's regulations, but we're not under them because we're precise. Is that the way to say it?
We're too close to searching,
Yeah.
so we are probably non-nucleus airport. That it makes it more difficult to get money.
Here's, I guess, my point. I want you to get the cost on the chip seal, not chip seal, but on the seal coating.
Right.
Because a couple meetings that I've gone to, and I've discussed it with Tammy, and I really hadn't gone into it with the council yet, but we're given, is the word a rebate, on some sales taxes, that it's going to be held out of our next 3 or 5 5 months. So that's 18,000, and that's from one of our gas companies. They won't tell us which one, but that's what it is. We're afraid that it's going to set a precedence. If one, has been awarded that, then the others may get in line and they may want their money back too. And there's a deal with Walmart about some property tax, and if they get that, then that's going to set a precedence. And we've been asked by the county judge and other state, even U.S. Congressman French Hill, to be aware of these cutbacks.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying we're going to have to be more conservative than we would like to be
I
right
understand,
now.
that's why I've got 2 different bids already for the first bid.
But please bring those numbers and let's discuss them Tuesday.
I will do that.
Thank you for
Thank
speaking.
you.
What was his name?
Thanks, Gary.
Well,
What was your name? What's his name?
Gary Biddle.
Gary.
Okay, buildings and grounds, Mr. Byer.
I believe Miss Tammy has some bids for building to replace the old unproposed building. Yes, sir.
And we just had the agenda amended by Mr. Hodges to allow that.
Is that the only thing you have? Also, we do, Mr. Terry Williams has rendered a bid to redo the speaker system in here to make it better for everybody to hear, because we recognize that just the microphones didn't fix the issue, because speakers are back there. But the bid that he has given to us is a total of $439.59 for 4 ceiling speakers, 100 foot of speaker wire, 1 wall plate, and his installation.
Total.
Total of $439.59.
You'd like to put that in the form of a motion?
I would like to move that we would accept this to finish out our sound system.
I'll
Is there
second.
a second? Who seconded?
I'll second.
All those in favor? And Dennis, could I have a copy of that?
You got the bid, you got
The first bid is Delk Construction, and it says PEMB turnkey quote, storage building. And there's a lot of explanation, description. He says, $34,597 is the base bid. And then alternative additive bid, number 1 is $952. And then it says alternate number 2, $7,889. And that one's concerning the concrete because the concrete has a issue. And alternative number 3 is $5,258.
And what's that adding on that last one?
There's not another total here.
It doesn't say what that third option's for though.
I'll just let y'all.
Interior around the inside
Got it.
wall.
Insulation?
No, insulation.
You go
Finish it, to finish it?
Yeah, to finish.
Okay. Basically trim it out.
Yeah. That's interior line panel.
Okay.
So is the 34,000 the total bid?
No, that's
I'll
the
get that
base
to
plus
add on
5.
to it.
See, I don't
Well,
know, I think
7, 5,
everybody else's
12.
has just got bases on them. That's what we're finding out.
It'll be like 50,000 total. Do all.
It'd be 34 plus 5,000, be 30.
952, 788, 9, 52, 58.
You're right, almost.
There's 7, 5, 12, 13, 14, 48,000.
I have a bid from Absolute Roofing, and he bid exactly what the spec sheet was, and he bid $42,942.14. This one is from a company called BMD Builders. And his total price is $57,000.
And that's just the basic spec.
It says 75 by 30 metal building for specs provided by City Hall. Material and labor to erect the building, material and labor to install 2 overhead doors, material and labor to install 8-foot metal around the inside, material and labor to install anchor bolts for building, dumpsters, supervision.
So it does address the finish work on there.
And it's from Brent Benton.
So it was 57, go higher. Was there one more?
No, there's several.
Okay. I had several calls on this one.
This is RLH Construction out of Salem, Arkansas, and his total bid is $57,400. And the price for the building is $48,600, and then the concrete, I'm assuming whatever he would need to do to it, it says cut and remove area for all anchor bolts and replace with piers, anchor bolts, rebar to structurally support new building, $8,800.
On top of the 57,
No,
it includes that.
yes. 57.4.
Okay,
And this one is from Jerry Joyner, general contractor. He says the total price is $37,150. He lists a 312 roof pitch. Roof and wall sheeting is 26 gauge, both any standard color. 2 10x10 insulated overhead doors. 1 3-foot walk door. 3-inch vinyl backed insulation roof and walls. Gutter and downspouts on one side. Includes drill and anchor bolts with epoxy and exiting concrete slab. No concrete work. And then he also has attached a drawing.
Sounds like his inside will just be insulation and not finished out and no concrete work too.
No, it said panels, inside panels.
Interior panel.
Read that one more time if you don't mind. It sounds like the insulation is what you call it, panels.
Okay, it says 312 roof pitch, roof and wall sheeting is 26 gauge, both any standard color. 2 10x10 insulated overhead doors, 1 3-foot walk door, 3-inch vinyl backed insulation roof and walls, gutter and downspouts on one side. Includes drill-in anchor bolts with epoxy on existing concrete slab. No concrete work.
I think that's called the
The
plastic
outside.
backing of the insulation. Does that sound like no finished walls?
Don't sound like
And then-
You agree?
That's the way I understand it.
This one came email, and his total cost for Gabe Wunderlich Construction is $141,700.
How much?
$141,700.
Go with that one. Okay, next.
But it lists everything here that he can do for that.
You don't have to look at that number.
Yeah. This bid is from Big Creek Contractors from Heber Springs, Arkansas, and he bids $63,000. Well, he says all labor and materials necessary to erect a 30 by 75 by 12 colored red iron metal building, 3-pitch roof with 2 10x10 overhead doors and 1 30 by 70 walk-in door, fence removal, any concrete pier work necessary to properly anchor the building to the existing concrete slab, 3-inch insulation gutters and 8-foot metal liner wall on the inside will be included. Roof will be 12 gauge and walls will be 26 gauge. And that, for that building, is $63,000. Then he has an alternate option. It says same building with same features, except it will be a cold formed steel building with 29 gauge metal on the walls. It's $58,000.
Red iron's a little heavier, that's the reason.
And I think that's all of them. That's all I have.
Well, there's a couple of them that will eliminate the Sept just because of pricing. That's easy right there. So,
I would like to submit that we take these bids under advisement and contact, much like we did with the
RFP.
waste disposal, so we can make sure that we are comparing exactly the same thing as far as the gauges of the metal and things like that.
Yeah, and the concrete work, because that's gonna be a big thing too, because it is uneven.
Absolutely.
And they have, the ones that have come and looked at it, they've included it in there. The basic, Delk has got the lower price on the basic, but then when he adds his trim work, it gets to 48. And Joyner, I don't think Joyner's had the trim work on, to be honest.
Seems Cersei.
Which bid was he?
Joyner, his number
37,150 was his bid.
Number 5.
I'll second your motion, Vince.
All those in favor? I have Joiner's bid out, Johnny. Now, what was the question on him?
Where is he from, Cersei?
Yes. Jerry Joyner, general contractor.
So basically, we're tabling it to review it. Okay, thank you.
And one last thing, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
I know that it would be good for us to have a buildings and grounds meeting to discuss these things, but I know that most everybody is also has other committee priorities this coming Tuesday. I would, is it possible that we could have our meeting later on Tuesday instead of trying to run
Well, there's
5 or
only
6?
there's only city councilman on it, so that'll be fine.
Okay.
So,
But I would welcome anyone that would like, because this building does actually have a big part in why we had a moratorium on some things. So I just, I don't.
you want to set it for 7 or 7:30?
If any, Alvin, can you and Dennis be around at 7? Well, so we'll just do ours at 7. If you would like to come and put your input in, we would welcome it.
So building and grounds to discuss the building, 7 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock this coming Tuesday. That's our media notice. We'll still send them. Since it's a different time, Tammy, we will send a media notice out for that one, because it's gonna be at 7 instead of 6. Okay. So,
That's all.
okay, thank you. Personnel Committee, Mr. Hodges.
Nothing.
Water and Sewer Committee, Mr. Hodges, and I think Andy will be speaking too.
I'll let Andy have it.
Well, after the water tanks got inspected, we are needing some repairs on each one of them. In the packet, we have the cost of repairs. I believe on the newest tank, we got a little tank, nothing major, we got to replace some cleans, on it, tank needs to be chipped and redone. And on the small tank, I believe it's going to be around 1,600 on that one. And on the larger tank, or older one, for the estimated cost it's going to be around 1,150. It's pretty much the same thing, just replacing screens on a roof vent and overflow pipes, touch up on the tank. But on the smaller one, the newest tank, why that one's so much higher is we're going to reroute the overflow pipe, direct it where it runs downhill away from residentials on the other side. We've had issues with that before. So that's why that's and what he's proposing here is going to be $400. It's a lot cheaper than what I can buy the parts to do it ourselves. So that's something to think.
Now, total cost?
Total cost for the two. We're looking at probably 2750.
We discussed that at the pre-council meeting.
That's the rerouting of the drain and all.
Yes, he's going to cut the 45 off and redirect it where instead it runs off, it's just a concrete pad, splash pad there, instead of running down the backside of the tank, so it's running down with the other one.
But that 400 is added on your total amount.
Yes.
I move we accept that bid.
Second.
All those in favor?
Just something that had to be done. Old business, update on cleaning properties. Chuck, you want to have anything to say there?
Well, I just, Harold Rising called, he said, he made a proposal to Shannon Oldham.
About hauling stuff off, you mean?
Yeah, he'll haul, he wants them to haul all that away, that house is down on Vine Street. And in return, he'll give all the land, including the one that the house is on, all the way to Fourth Street to Shannon. Pay for it. So,
I was
still up in the air, but I haven't heard it being agreed to.
Okay, well, that's between them. I was gonna try to ask him, you know, if you donate the property to the city, but that's his deal. He owns it. That was where,
Also, he's to take care of that tree.
right.
That's part of the deal.
But this was a property that I had made a mention about doing a community garden on. That was why I was interested in it. Okay. Now, on the demolition, I've got a note down here to ask you about that. Have you heard back from the Blyville?
I haven't heard when they're going to start. I'll give them a little more.
That'd be good. And maybe we'll know a little bit more on that by next Tuesday. Now, we discussed this the other day. Mr. Bill Sample, he came and talked to us a little bit about the cleanup of the White property. Does any more need to be said about that?
I haven't heard anything else.
You hadn't noticed any more cleaning up on that property yet, have you?
No, they're either doing it awfully slow.
Not at all.
Yeah. So make it a point to touch base with them tomorrow and let me know about that. If I need to go talk to them with you, I will. All right, reassess the millage. Do we need to take a vote on that?
So moved. Three mills.
Billy, did you second that?
Yes.
All those in favor? Unanimous.
Water tank repairs, we just talked about that. Mr. Charles White addressed the council. I hadn't seen him or heard him in here tonight, so I think he's got that out of his system. In the summer cleanup of the ditches, I hadn't heard any more, from the highway department, on that. I will try my best to go and talk to them again tomorrow. But, David, like you said, y'all were busy, cleaning up, doing the ditches, on this side, pretty much on the north side now, right?
Well, we got the main ones done. We still got,
Yeah. Well, you've got a long way to go, no doubt about that. That's
We
a
got all
big
winter.
job. Yeah. And I will report this, I have talked to Ms. Margaret Manus Whitehead, and, she says that they're already, do you remember seeing it before, Tammy, that there is an easement somewhere, but we just can't find it?
I've never seen it, but I do know that we've always kept that ditch clean because the water flow.
Yeah.
It keeps water off these properties back here.
Yeah, we've got to have it, but the thing of it is, she says that she had it signed, she admits to me, verbally, that she did have it signed, she took it around and signed it herself, and, that it was filed, and the city at some point in time had it. I told her if we could not find it, that I would ask her just to sign a simple statement, to give us an easement on that property. I won't tell everybody what I've said with her, she's not gonna have a problem with that. And I want to see us clean that out. I don't think anybody have a problem. Be very careful, because there's some issues down there with some lines and whatnot.
Comcast company them come in and clean them.
Yeah, they did. Good deal. So, but I know you're aware of all that. But as soon as we can get to that, work that in, that's very important. And then Chip has already met with Ms. Whitehead as well. Try to get him to finish cleaning it on out on their property so it will drain. That drain is so important to that town. So, okay. Vicious dogs, we hadn't had any more to say on that. I just want, I talked with the chief about it. And do you think that's been remedied already, Chief, about the chows and the pits up there on Richardson Street? That's what I needed to know. That's all that you can do. They'll be notified the first time, given a warning. The second time, they'll be ticketed, and thereafter. Okay. The MD Forbes building, I asked something about getting some siding, installed, but let's talk about that at the building and grounds. Is that okay? Approval of the bills?
I move we pay the street fund.
We
Back
missed the
up.
trash rates.
Mr. Trash
We
Rate.
gotta vote that in.
We've already
Glad.
voted on that.
No,
No, we didn't.
we couldn't vote.
We don't have an ordinance yet.
We just.
We don't, it says ordinance required, but we don't have an ordinance
We
because
just
we don't have
agreed
any
to
numbers to
agree.
put in.
I thought we had.
We don't have an ordinance.
We don't have.
We don't have an ordinance. We gotta get an ordinance.
Right.
Should be.
Would y'all have a problem, you know, tell me if I'm wrong here, can we go ahead and take a vote to approve the, amounts that we presented tonight, pending the ordinance prepared by Mr. Don Rainey?
I don't think there's any need for that until you have your ordinance and those numbers are plugged in the ordinance.
Okay. Well, how about let's just go ahead and approving the numbers, making a vote on that. How about that? Because we need to do
Okay.
that. I think we need to do that so
Okay.
Don can have his numbers, you know, to prepare the ordinance. So, and then if we need to call a special meeting to, you know, get that approval, entertain a motion for the approval of the numbers that we agreed on tonight.
I thought we had voted on it. Y'all got me confused, but I went back and looked and we did vote on that in the.
We made a motion and
You
second, but
did,
nobody voted.
yes. Yes, I have it
Did we?
unanimous.
Okay, what the deal was, that was a special called meeting. So it was a legal meeting. We did. Are you okay with that?
So
then?
the rates apply, and then we get an
Well,
ordinance, we'll do the
you
ordinance.
made the motion that the dumpsters would remain at the small surcharge on commercial
Yes.
dumpsters. And then included in that motion was 10% would be the increase on, or the surcharge on the household dumpsters. And you made the motion and Alvin seconded it, and I have that we voted unanimously to accept that.
I think what we did is vote to accept the numbers, but it's still pending on that.
We don't have an ordinance.
Yeah.
No,
So we're.
it's
we're-
not law until there's an ordinance.
we'll-
Those numbers need to be plugged into an ordinance.
But we'll call it good on the numbers and then pending on the ordinance. That will suffice. Thank you. I'm glad we got to clear that up. So, does anybody have anything to say about anything?
Street fund. We gotta do
Oh, I
that.
didn't hear you not. That. Okay, go
I
ahead.
move we pay the street fund payables in the amount of $9,552.99.
Second.
All those in favor? That's unanimous.
I move we pay the general fund payables in the amount of $56,150.95.
Second, Dennis Rutherford. All those in favor? It's unanimous.
I move we pay the water and sewer payables in the amount of $112,702.94.
Second, Vince. All those in favor? It's unanimous.
Now, has anybody got anything to say that was on the agenda discussed tonight?
So moved.
We're adjourned.